मत हो जी परेशान, करो जी माथा बच्ची, निकलेगा समाधान, करो जी माथा बच्ची। अब छूटेगी जान, करो जी माथा बच्ची, मत हो जी परेशान, करो जी माथा बच्ची। मत हो जी परेशान, निकलेगा समाधान, अब छूटेगी जान, करो जी माथा बच्ची।
Maathapacchi!
Hello everybody, today is World Social Work Day and with me I have my father Dr. P.K. Bajpai, and he is a person who eats, lives and breathes social work. So I think there's no better person to talk to today than him. Hello and welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, I know you very well. I know you for 24 years now, but people don't know you. So tell a little bit about yourself.
Very difficult.
मतलब Papa started getting so giddy.
हाँ, ठीक है, चल.
Self-introduction is always a difficult part. I have been at Udaipur School of Social Work for about 21 years, and later I have shifted to this place as principal of Maharaja Christian College, Gadri. So I have around 32 years teaching experience and about 4-5 years research experience. So this is my humble background, and
Okay, so
that's
I
all.
promise you this was the only difficult question. Okay, so let's start with Social Work Day.
Yeah.
What is the focus of this year's World Social Work Day?
This year Social Work Day comes with the focus co-building a new eco-social world. Co-building means let us come together to build a new society where justice, social, economic, and political prevails. And the another part of it is that nobody is left around. So nobody should be left behind is the motto of our constitution as well. So the Indian constitution as well as motto of social work goes together.
Okay. So, before we talk about the future and the vision and goals, I want to know something about the history. Why did it start? How did it start? How did Social Work Day come into being?
Long back, if we go into the history, it was 1983 when some talk was there with United Nations that social work profession should be given primacy, and for that some day or some week should be celebrated. However, no day was fixed and no week was fixed. Sometimes it was celebrated on 25th March, some year it was celebrated on 28th March, some year it was celebrated on 29th March, and this way randomly it was going through till it came to 2004 when at Adelaide, International Federation of Social Work and International Association of Schools of Social Work together decided to have a day of its own so that to reach to the people and reach out to the society to make our profession more acceptable. And with this mission, every partner and other agencies also agreed to it, and it took around 2-3 years. So finally, in 1920, in 2007, it was first celebrated. However, day was not fixed again. It was 2008 only at Brazil meeting when it was decided that every year third Tuesday of March will be celebrated as International Social Work Day, and since then it is regularly celebrated and observed as International Social Work Day.
Okay, so that is a long history.
That is long history.
Yes, so one thing that I see around when we celebrate Women's Day or Social Work Day or days like that, what people feel is that these days are a farce. Like, why do you celebrate one day when you can have a celebration of the whole year, or when you can actually take it as a motto for the whole year, or things like that. So, how is celebration of a day important for a field? Do you think it is important? And if it is, how has it been important to your particular field?
Yeah, good question, I think. And yes, people don't take the observance of days very seriously because it is just a ritual. But far as social work professor is concerned, it is more than a ritual because if we think for this year's example, uh, we are going to have a people summit on the same theme from 29th June to 2nd of July. And every year the theme is followed by a people summit. So it is a way to reach out to the people directly and to tell them that we are there as humanitarian profession. Whenever there is nobody, then you will find a social worker to hold your hand and take you along. So I think it is important for us to refresh our resolve to humanity.
Okay, so how broad is the reach right now? Because personally, I only know about it because of you. So I don't think most of my friends know about World Social Work Day. So are you really reaching the people?
Yes.
Because if I talk about Women's Day, everyone knows that we celebrate Women's Day, and there is a lot of pomp and show around it. Why is there not a pomp and show around World Social Work?
I think Women Day is also part of social work, and social work is very broad that way. And I used to say that where there are problems, there is social work. So where there are human beings existing, there is also scope of social work. And social work is in the field of medicine, social work is in the field of psychiatry, social work is in the field of drug addiction and counseling, social work is in the field of gender justice and women empowerment, work is in the field of youth welfare and youth development, social work is social policy, social development, and all around. So any issue hampering the existence of humanity comes in the within the scope of social work. So it has a vast scope, and therefore, though it has expanded its scope as well as reach, but it is less visible. So I think through more and more people's outreach programs, we will be better seen along with the people.
Right, I also hope so. Okay, so first I want you to elaborate on the theme of social work. I know you've told us about it, but you feel about this theme? How important is it for the future of social work and for the future, our future as a community?
Societies are generally divided. Societies are generally unequal. Societies generally are fraught with injustices, discriminations, exploitations, then a number of other problems, intrapersonal and interpersonal. Like one may have the issue of unemployment and suffering. One may have the issue of adjustment with this within the self and adjustment with the members of the family, with the relationships and all. So a number of issues where people are suffering, and to address those sufferings, it is very important because there are two types of problems. One where person himself is responsible for it, and another set of problems focus to where the society is responsible, the community is responsible. Like if you belong to, say, you are a woman and you are discriminated in the society, so you are not responsible for that. Society is responsible. So the social work takes to the community as such to allow women to the equal status. So if it is so, I think we need a rejuvenated resolve to reach out to the people. Why? We have seen COVID, where who suffered most? The poor, the laborer, the migrants, the women, the children. They suffered most. And you see now ongoing humanitarian crisis, that is Ukraine. We see lakhs of people migrating from one place to another without food, without shelter, always under the threat of being killed and shelled out. So, big problem. Then there are the issues of foreign students in the Ukraine who came for cheap education. They now not only suffer for their own future, educational future, but also a trauma that they have faced there. So, I think it is incumbent upon the profession of social work to reach out to the people who have suffered humanitarian crisis and to help themselves.
Right.
The basic motto is social work is only provides hand holding. Social work helps people to help themselves because they have to be enabled. We have the enabling approach. We need not to provide or feed every mouth, but rather we teach people how to feed themselves.
Right.
So this is our approach, and I think given the humanitarian crisis around, our scope of intervention has increased many-fold, and society is watching to the social workers for the help.
Right. Okay, so this was going to be my next question, but you've already answered it because I think a very layman approach towards social work, or if I ask someone that what do you think social work is, people will generally refer to donations and charities and helping someone, feeding people and everything. And I think you have clarified it that what we mean when we talk about social work is a very enabling approach. We want to make people equipped, and we want to enable them to actually help themselves. And I think the biggest win of the social work scenario would be when it is not needed anymore.
Very good. But in the background, social work is a very skilled job.
Right.
Because when a layman thinks of a social work, he or she only thinks that helping to pass out the road to a disabled person, but that is not the case. We want to teach him that he should be independent.
Right.
So it is more important, and for that, social workers are equipped themselves, skilled themselves, and if they are not skilled properly, they will not be able to help people, so that to enable them to help themselves. So it is more important. Social workers generally, it is very skilled job. Skill in psychological understanding, skilled in political understanding, skilled in economics understanding, social policy, social development issues, and society around social relationships, complexities involved in social relationships. And if we understand all those things and intricacies therein, then we are able to help people better so that they can find out the way out for their own problems. So
Right.
it is not a layman's job. And more importantly, social work is like medicine, like law. So it is a profession, and it should be given professional understanding. Last, I want to say, and I want to appeal to the society that as you approach to a doctor for a headache or for a fever, similarly for a social problem, for a psychological problem, for an adjustmental problem, for an intrapersonal problem like anxiety and depression and all that, you should approach to a social worker. And if people start approaching to the social worker for their interpersonal and interpersonal problems, their social and community problems, then they will be saved early. They will be saved from suicide. They will be saved from falling into the prey of the exploiters. and prey of injustice and all. So, and this together will be a start for a better society,
Right.
independent society.
Yes, I totally agree. So now you've given a message to all the people. I also want you to give a message to the aspiring social work professionals, students who are in social work, who are studying social work as who want that degree after 3 years or 2 years of work. And what do you want to tell them?
Yeah, social work profession hardly involves any machine, you know.
Yeah.
We convert ourselves into our set of tools. So our skill is our only tool, and we are the main tool. So we should convert ourselves, our persona, into a social work persona. And social work persona is basically empathic. That if you find and see and observe any problem anywhere, then you forget yourself, your comfort zone, your convenience, and reach out to as soon as possible to the problems and help the person as is possible, so that he or she is not subjected to any further unwanted situation. So I think this kind of empathetic persona should be developed. This is only thing, because they study too much, they read a lot, but they don't convert themselves as a tool. So a personality of a social worker is more important. So be the persona, so that others are treated half at least without in your company itself, without coming to you, or without having your intervention.
Right. So be the persona, be the tool, and be someone who really sees everything with the eye of a professional social worker.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think this is a good note to end the video.
Thank you. And final appeal to the people again, that approach to a social worker wherever you have a problem. Don't
Right.
wait, don't waste your time.
Like you approach a doctor,
Yeah.
you should approach a social worker whenever you feel that you have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All the best.